Hello and welcome back to Glass Cannon, and when we last left off we were at war with many different factions, and you can see here that the Western Empire, surprisingly enough, has taken the most war exhaustion damage. Not entirely sure why that even happened, to be honest. I guess it's because they are the largest faction, and it does, well, they are the largest enemy faction apart from us, obviously. And yeah, they probably took more losses than they anticipated, potentially, but I'm not really sure. Anyway, this is what's currently going on with our diplomacy situation. As you can see, we've been at war with many of these people for well over a month, and I was actually thinking of making peace with the Western Empire. Now, this is a little bit dubious on my part, because I'm thinking to myself, do I really need to? But then I thought, oh, you know what? There's an army of over 2,000 combat strength within an arm's length of the fief that I've just taken, which is, I believe, Jalmaris. So if they do decide to come over here, bad things are going to happen. So what I was thinking of is making peace with these guys, because as you can see, they're actually going to be giving me almost 2,500 per day, which is actually kind of nice. And we could also make peace with the Sturgians too. So making peace with the Sturgians as well, so that we can focus on the Southern Empire and the Khuzait. But now here's the problem with that. They're far away. Yeah, they're very, very far away. So if I do make peace with the Sturgians and the Western Empire, we're not really going to have any enemies to fight that are close to home. And so that's the reason why I thought to myself then, okay, let's make peace with the Western Empire, but then let's push our advantage in the north against the Sturgians. Because you can see here, they have Cranarod Castle, they have Mecalovea Castle. I actually took Gersagos Castle off screen. I took Jalmaris a couple of minutes ago, and I also took this castle down here, which I will not attempt to pronounce. But yes, those three fiefs I managed to take off screen, and hopefully we're going to be able to expand into the north. So I think we're going to probably progress with the plan that I just outlaid, and hopefully we're going to be able to make peace here. Western Empire, let's do that. There we go. And we are going to be giving a lot of them back in terms of their prisoners, which is obviously not exactly what you want. But my forces are very numerous in this area as well, so it would actually be kind of nice if they could all then move north. So I'm thinking maybe we'll change our war strategy against the Sturgians to aggressive rather than balanced. But then I run the risk of having some of their forces come over to us. Oh, hello. Alright, so the Aserai are now deciding to weigh in this conflict. Kind of interesting. If I was them, I probably would not have done that, but okay. I mean, if they want to, then okay, sure. That's absolutely fine. We do have a pretty reasonable shot at defeating this army here. Yeah, we're going to go in here. I really don't want them to take Macedon Castle. I don't really care about Macedon Castle that much. What? Why is there only 97 here? That was weird. Did you see that? That guy seemed to only have 97 in his army, but he actually has 403, as you can quite clearly tell. The total number of units is, well, over 400. But anyway, let me see. Where are the opponent? Where are they actually appearing? Because I can't see them from where I am. That's kind of interesting. Okay, well, whatever the case. Oh, there they go. Okay, they weren't appearing yet by the look of things. Okay, that's kind of interesting. Oh, well, never mind. Okay, so yeah, this is obviously going to be a pretty simple fight, or at least it should be a pretty simple fight. We've got clear line of sight. We've got some decent hills. The enemy really shouldn't be able to damage us super badly, considering many of the Sturgian units do not have very sturdy shields, and as a result, they're not going to be able to even make it close to us without getting absolutely murdered. At least, that's the hope. You never know. Maybe they're not going to do that. Maybe they're actually going to be really sneaky and use the environment to their advantage, which is actually what they're doing. Ooh, they have a lot of cavalry. This is actually... Oh, they do have shields as well. These cavalry units actually have shields. Oh, that's interesting. Alright, we might have some issues here then. We might actually be in a bit of a bad situation, but who knows? Maybe maybe my forces will be able to get a couple of lucky shots, I was going to say. Get a couple of lucky shots in here and there, can always turn the tide, and I'm going to be moving my archers onto this hilltop here. I'm going to be telling my infantry to charge in just a second, because they literally just stand there most of the time, and that is really not something we want. We want them to be doing something, you know, whether that's running in and just doing some damage before they die. I mean, you know, if they do end up dying, then it would be nice if they dealt some damage first, you know, instead of literally just standing there and getting shot. And, yeah. That actually brings me to the next point. I think someone, well, a couple of people, and including myself actually on this, I thought about this idea a while ago, but I thought, how am I going to pull it off? And I think some people are also supporting this idea in the comments, so I'm kind of, this is about the next series idea, by the way, the next series theme, and I'm thinking turtle theme. Yeah. Thinking highly defensive theme. So low offense, high defense. Not sure how that's really going to work though, unfortunately, because most of the time when you have high defense, you know, you're also going to have high offense. It's just, you know, a given, basically. That is literally just how the game works. So it's a little bit, at the moment, a little bit confusing as to how I'm going to do that. I mean, what I could do is basically make it so that most of my units have... I mean, that's the point. You can't really spec into shield. There's no real way of speccing into shield in this game, because obviously in Warband, you were able to spec into shield, you know, and you could technically take a unit, if you had the ability to customize them, of course, and you could make them into the most defensive-oriented unit in the world. You literally could do that if you wanted to. But in Bannerlord it's a little bit different, because there is no shield skill. There's just, well, athletics and thrown skills and weapon skills, and I suppose it's kind of cool that they have actually incorporated shield skills into the weapon skills, because, let's face it, no one really... I mean... That's the point. I'm not going to say this because generally I think it depends on the situation, but most people would put quite a few points into shield. But if they were wanting something a little bit more offensive potentially, then usually that would never happen. But obviously it's been a while since I played Warband, but yeah, usually I would go for at least 7 points in shield as my character, if I'm using a shield, that is, in Warband, and that would be enough. That would be really, really good, because that also increased your overall, well, your shield's overall size, I guess you could say. It kind of influenced your coverage area in regards to being able to block arrows from hitting the rest of your body. That's basically how it would work, and it was really, really effective. And... well, there's nothing like that in Bannerlord, unfortunately. There are a number of defensive perks, as I say, in the one-handed skill tree, I think. But I think that's it. Don't think there's anything else, so it's gonna be a little bit difficult. I suppose the only other way that we could do it... I'm gonna take these guys prisoner, by the way. But yeah, I think the only other way that we could do it is if I... as I say, if I used my little warband, obviously I'm going to probably be using this mod. It's just so incredibly powerful, really. But yeah, if I used my little warband and then I literally just changed their proficiencies. So I made it so that their proficiency in one-handed skill was very low, because that kind of says to you, oh yeah, they've got low offense, obviously, you know, right? However... then I'm thinking, well, how am I going to make them more defensive if I don't have them have those perks? You know, it's kind of weird. But I could just then give them the best shields in the game. You know, I could give them the best shields in the game, but the worst one-handed weapons. I mean, obviously not the worst ones, but ones that are not particularly high damage or anything like that. That could be an idea, but very preliminary at the moment, and I'm not sure whether I'm going to come up with a different theme, because at this point I'm not sure if that's going to be extremely exciting, because what is exciting? dealing damage is exciting, right? Dealing damage is exciting. So, unfortunately, with that kind of series, it's probably not. It's probably not going to be that enthralling, which obviously is the main. I mean, that's the main point. It has to be entertaining, right? So I'm not sure how that's going to work, because if we just go, oh, look at that, my units are alive. You know what I mean? That's kind of the difficulty with that, I guess. Anyway, we're going to be selling a whole bunch, gaining 132,000. Yeah, give me that. Oh yeah, by the way, we almost have everything as a price. I'm at 297. 297. Whoa, it's been a while, hasn't it? Yeah, it's been a pretty significant amount of time. And hopefully we're going to be getting it really, really soon. As you can see, we're at 298 now. That is very cool. And hopefully I'll be able to besiege this. And by the time we complete this siege, we might very well have everything as a price. It very much depends. Obviously, my caravans are still running around. We have quite a few of them still active. Amazingly enough, I would have expected most of them to be eliminated, considering we have so many aggressive factions against us at the moment, but no, apparently they're doing pretty well. Anyway, this has been my strategy for my sieges. This. Yeah, I just send my units to charge in. They hopefully get onto the battlements on the right side, as you can see here. Obviously, as I said before, the right side does appear, at least in these kinds of layouts, to be the weak link in their defenses, and so it is much, much easier for us to climb up here. And look at that, there's barely any resistance whatsoever. I mean, obviously you have to bear in mind that, of course, I mean, there just isn't a garrison here. That's the whole point. There's just literally no one around to even defend. So that could also be partially the reason why we're not really seeing that many people around, but still. Anyway, we're going to be taking all the troops here, going to take all the prisoners, because obviously I do need to make sure that we place these guys in the garrison. There we go. And hopefully we're going to be able to actually provide a couple of fiefs to someone that isn't far on. And that actually brings me to the next point. I know. You're worried. I'm worried. Yes, I know. Faron has way too many fiefs under his control, and I don't really know if there was anything I could do about that, because many of the fiefs I was giving him were Empire fiefs and had low loyalty at the time. And so, what is the best way for me to save them? Well, probably to give them to some Empire vassal, and I only have 2 of them at the moment under my command, as far as I'm aware. So that obviously makes a pretty significant difference to my options, because if I don't get Penton and I don't get Faron as options in the vote, well, that's probably, well, that's basically it. There's not much more I can do about that, unfortunately. But yeah, I'm a bit dubious as well. I share your concern, because let's face it, if he decides to do it, and hopefully he doesn't, cross fingers, he might leave and take all of those fiefs with him. But that does add a bit of, shall we say, a bit of tension to the series, in my opinion, because that means that, you know, at any time, Faron could leave and he could take basically half, well, not half our territory with him, but he would take many, many pieces of territory with him, and then that's going to result in a massive power swing from, you know, from us to whoever. I'm not entirely sure who it would go to, obviously. It very much depends on him at that point. But, well, this is interesting. I don't really want to take this myself. I'm going to give this to Mimir, because I think he might own Omor, or at least he's going to own Omor once we take it, hopefully. But yeah. That's going to be a pretty significant swing of power if we, if that actually happens, you know, because let's face it, it might not, you know. Faron is a pretty, I mean, he seems like a pretty loyal guy, at least at the moment. And now that I've said that, I've probably jinxed myself to oblivion, and as a result, well, bad things might happen. Oh, we're making peace with the Khuzait? Wait a minute. We have too many enemies. We need to make peace with at least some of them. That is the... Okay, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. That is the dumbest idea I have ever seen in a very long time, considering we have literally been at war with 4 people, or shall we say 4 factions, for well over... I mean, you saw the diplomacy screen beforehand, right? We were at war with these people for well over 40 days each. Some of them over 50 days. I'm gonna say... Can I say no? Can I say no here? I mean, I can, but the relation is going to go down, and I'm going to have to spend 1,700 influence. I'm going to say no. I am literally going to spend 1,700 influence on this because I feel very strongly about it. I think it is actually really, really bad for us to do that. I mean, I can make peace with I can make peace with the Sturgians after this. I kind of wanted to take Omor, though. But we do have the Aserai. Yes, we do have the Aserai as well now, so it would probably make sense for us to make peace with at least one of them. Obviously, I just didn't want to do it on the Khuzait's terms, because I feel like, I don't know, I'm not sure whether that was a byproduct of the Khuzait diplomatic effort, or whether... Okay, well, I just got absolutely murdered. I got shot in the head twice. Yep. Yeah, you saw that? Look at that. 68 damage to the head, 71 damage to the head. Okay, that kind of makes sense. Anyway, the point is, I kind of didn't want to have, or should we say, give the Khuzait a decent deal, you know? I didn't want to give them a deal where we were paying them in comparison to them paying us, because, you know, at this point, we do have the money to be able to, well... We can basically take any deal, even if it even if it pays them 8,000 or 9,000 per day. That doesn't really make any difference to our coffers, or at least in my opinion. I feel like many of our vassals are very wealthy. I have spread the wealth around quite significantly, as you can no doubt tell. Whenever they join our faction, I have given them well over the amount that I, technically needed to. But I didn't really want to have to do that. You know, I didn't really want to just go to them and be like, oh yeah, here you go. Here's this free money that we don't need to give you. You know what I mean? So that was the reason why I decided, you know what? Let's just spend the influence, because I'm not spending the influence on anything else. So might as well use it for something semi-useful, even though it's very questionable whether that was a useful decision or not. Anyway, let's see. Have I... Oh, no, I don't have it yet. Oh, yeah, 298. We're at 298. Okay, can we please take Omor? Can I suggest it to someone or something? Because it feels to me like we are really not moving forward with our capturing of the Sturgians' territory. Because let's just see here. Yeah, literally, I could be gaining 4,500 per day, and I would very much like to do that. By the way, these guys have, the Northern Empire has paid us so far 64,000, not even that much. But on the flip side, look at this. The Western Empire have paid us almost 19,000, and we've only been at peace with them for how many days now? Like what, 3 days or something? 3 in-game days? Oh, hello there. Wait. I'm gonna help you, sir. Yes, we got in there just in the nick of time. And now he's going to be very, very pleased with us indeed. Look at that, 21 influence as a result of our efforts in helping him out. Obviously, it doesn't really make that much difference because I think he was already at 100 relation with us, but still, it's always nice to be nice, I guess. And I'm going to go over to Epicrotia real fast. What are you doing, Aldrich? Aldrich, you imbecile, get over there and take Omor. Never mind. Apparently he's not going to do that. I really don't know why. Sometimes the AI is really weird with their decision making, because sometimes they really do a great job, you know. Sometimes they go over there and they take whatever needs to be taken, and then I'm very pleased with them. But then most of the time, in these cases, there is a fief that so badly needs to be taken, and yet they're just not doing it. But oh well. Never mind. Okay, there's 400. Yeah, 400 defenders in there. That's a little bit tricky, actually. Oleg is a. What does he have? Does he own anything? He owns Omor. I'm thinking of persuading this guy. We only have one Sturgian vassal otherwise, and that is Mimir. And so this would make the second Sturgian vassal that we have in our employ, I guess you could say. But I think that might actually be kind of useful. So let's see if we can persuade him. I mean, it's going to be pretty easy, I think, but let's just see. Yeah, super easy. I mean, obviously charm skill, you know, charm skill being maxed out. It's going to do that. All right, so let's take a look here. He obviously has Omor, right? That's all he has. He only has Omor, so the base amount that we have to give is 250,000 plus town. From my reckoning, that's another 100k or something like that. But because I have so much money, I'm gonna spread it around, because obviously I don't need this much, right? You know, literally, I don't need this much, so I'm literally gonna give him 500,000. I don't need to give him this much according to the rules that we set out beforehand, but I'm gonna give 500,000 just purely for the fact that I can and have the ability to do so. That's it. That is the only reason. Boom, there you go. Mr. Olek is very, very pleased, and we have now taken Omor as a result of that, which is actually also fantastic. We also now have another Sturgian, so if we do get additional fiefs, you know, to take from the Sturgians, then we can spread around the power a little bit as well, because obviously we really do not want to have a situation, gonna let her go by the way, we really do not want to have a situation where we are doing a Pharaon. That's what that's called now. We're not giving all the fiefs to just one person, because obviously that's really kind of detrimental to you know, to the whole thing. So what we're going to do now is we're going to declare peace. That's, by the way, why I let that vassal go, because you know, we're letting them go anyway now. And let's make peace with the Sturgians. Boom. As you can see, they literally only have 1200 combat strength. They really do not pose that much of a threat at all, but we were able to now convince Oleg to join us. We got Omor for a decent amount, and generally, I feel like that was a good investment. So, let's go back to Epicrotia. I do have a number of troops that I would like to donate to the garrison. I think the garrison is actually not even bad. Yeah, the garrison's pretty decent. They have 344. I do have a couple of people defecting right now, which is really not very good, but I can't do much about it. So let's just do this. I really wish there was an easier way. Is there an easier way, actually, of me doing this? I think there is, actually. Yes, there is a much easier way for me to do this. So let me just lock all of these. This is actually something that someone said in the comments as well, that I should probably do when it comes to prisoners as well. And that's actually what I've been using to make it a little easier for us to sort out prisoners when I'm selecting some, you know, whoever to get ransomed and stuff like that. So yeah, that really makes a huge difference. So thank you for reminding me about the locking system, because I haven't used that in so long. I used to use it all the time, but for some reason I just haven't been using it that often recently. But there you go. Okay, another couple of points in roguery, not too bad, and we can now make our way down to Aserai territory, which is exactly what we're going to do. I don't think it's worth me going over to Khuzait territory if some people want to do that, and I'm talking about Calatild here specifically, because obviously she is possibly going to defend Saniopa. What is she doing right now? Oh, she's fighting. Oh. I think she defended? Defeated? I don't know. I think she's done something there. Never mind. She literally lost. Oh no. She literally lost. Okay, that is pretty bad. Oh, I have noticed something though. We finally have it. Everything has a price. You can now trade settlements when doing barter. Oh yeah, that is exactly what we want. Alright, so who owns Ukba Castle? Let's have a look. This guy. Oh, okay, he likes us. I know him. Alright. So, I'm thinking on the one hand, should I try to persuade him to join us? If he's not in an okay, here's the deal. If he's not in an army, I will persuade him. But if he is in an army, then I will just take his fief. If I can. No, he's in an army. Okay, so let's wait a minute. Can I not? Oh no, I can't trade with people when they're at war with me. Oh, I forgot about that. Okay. Alright, so I won't be able to do that. But maybe I can then capture a little bit more Western Empire territory then as a result of my newfound perk. Zeonica is owned by the leader of the Western Empire. Right, okay. So what about Amitatus? Let's have a look at this. Tynops owns this. He doesn't like us at all, so he's probably going to give us really, really unfavorable terms in the barter itself, but maybe Garios will be a little bit more lenient. Let's see. Hello there, sir. I have a proposal that may benefit us both, and wow, you have a lot of... He is a greedy guy. Look at him. He is so greedy. He has over 500,000. Okay, I'm going to buy all of this. Can I do it? No. Okay, wait a minute. He wants all my weapons? That's actually hilarious. Okay, let's reset that real quick. Okay, so what do I actually want? I would like Zeonica and Diathma. Wow, okay. That's not even worth one. Okay. Okay, I could get Lycaron. Lycaron, not so much. I could get Poros. What about Vostrum? No. What about Diathma? Okay, so Diathma is looking pretty decent, but you can see here, it's very expensive. Yeah, this is exactly what I was talking about, by the way, with the power level of everything has a price, because I was saying how strong it actually is, but then you look at it right here and you think, well, it's really not that strong, you know? It's really not that strong because it's balanced out so heavily by such exuberant prices. I mean, personally, I feel like the price is a bit too high. That's just me, you know, because I don't know. Maybe it's not that high. I don't know. Because if you think about it, you're taking away the ability for that vassal to make money. Because if they only have one, like for example this guy, he only has one. But look at him. Look at this guy. He literally wants all of my money right now. He wants 2 million for one town. And he's still not even willing to give it to me. And that, yeah, and that is that, I guess. So yeah, you really can't, you know, shall we say, fleece them as you were able to fleece them beforehand, which I would say is a little bit on sort of like a bit of a seesaw. You know, it's a bit of a mixed bag, because on the one hand, you were able to get some really good deals, but on the other hand, you really got scammed sometimes, and it was kind of harsh. So, yeah, but now it's basically just a case of, well, you're never going to be able to afford anything with everything as a price unless you are literally Mr. Moneybags himself. And I think that might be a bit overboard, but as I say, I don't know. I think it very much depends on, or should we say, I think it should depend on a variety of other factors. And I'm not even just talking about the fact that, you know, I'm not talking about how much prosperity the town has, because if the town has a decent prosperity level, then of course the vassal is going to know this, and because they are going to be very, you know, they're going to be very cautious about what they trade away, they really don't want to trade away a prosperous fief, because, well, who's going to do that for a cheap price? Only a fool. Only a fool is going to do that, of course. So, I'm not asking them to do that, obviously, but all I'm saying is, if they have a decent situation, and I'm talking about Garios, for example, he has over 500,000 in gold, he has 5 or 6 other fiefs in the form of really, really good towns, and yet he still wants me to give him 3 castles and 2 million gold. And don't even get me started about Zeonica itself, because Zeonica itself was even more expensive. So yeah, that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. But obviously, if it is indeed so prosperous, that's probably the reason why he has so much money, obviously. Because if he has so much money, well, you've got to question why he does. And I can assume it's because of the fact that he generally is very greedy with the amount of fiefs that he has and that he provides himself as well, because he must have awarded those fiefs to himself over the course of a particular war campaign, and well, that's the reason why he has so much cash. But yeah, I guess he really just knows how strong of a standpoint he has. And I really don't have a very strong standpoint, which is actually kind of amusing, because I think this is actually one of the first series that I've ever done where I'm not actually in a very strong real estate position. Because usually what I would do is I would take, well, every fief that I could get my hands on. I could basically take every fief, I would claim it straight up, just because I had the ability to do so, because obviously I have the diplomacy mod installed, and it really makes a huge difference to my buying power. And I'm talking about obviously using everything as a price, because if you don't have everything as a price, having this many fiefs and everything, it's not really necessary to make decent amounts of cash. As you've seen, I've already made, I made 2 million without really having too many fiefs. But still, you have to, just try and balance those things out a little bit, I suppose. But anyway, this is actually a really good time for me to do, for me to test out the little locking mechanism that we have going on here. So look at this. I don't even have to go through all of this, and boom. Look at that. That was so nice and easy. Just going to go a quick once over here, make sure that we're not actually giving any of our bear units away, and it doesn't look as though we are. So that's super nice in my opinion. And we can also now give away some of our troops, some of the prisoners, and we're going to be gaining 32,000. I actually felt like I should have gained more from that, but okay. I was so excited about everything has a price as well. I was actually really, really excited about that. But I don't know. Maybe I just haven't found the right vassal with which to talk to about it, And we do have another perk to spend in the roguery tree. Your crime rating decrease. Oh, Scarface, I guess we'll go for. That is going to increase the chances of caravans and things like that surrendering, which I suppose is okay, but generally I'm not really going to be fighting those anyway. Quyaz is going to be going to Latha the Leopardess, of course. She is our only Aserai culture vassal, as it is, and it makes the most sense for her to have this. And we're also going to probably be making peace with someone else here, probably the Khuzait, because we have a pretty significant war exhaustion with them at the moment, as you can see, and we're in a bit of a positive sort of tribute value with them at the moment, so I guess it is okay for us to do that. Yeah. I feel a bit about doing that, to be honest, because I would much prefer to have a larger tribute. I mean, obviously, everyone really, really wants a lot of tribute here, but yeah, in this case, we're just gonna take it just to get them out the way, just to get our armies focusing on different areas, and to have people not have to defend against the Khuzait as well, because I'm pretty sure a Khuzait army was around Saniopa, and that was who defeated Calatild's army, I assume. Something along those lines, at least. Anyway, in the next episode, we're going to be fighting against the Aserai, and I will be attempting to take a couple of pieces of territory off screen as well. And maybe, just maybe, we'll find a use for everything as a price. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.